Got to show you something. I bought this around 1983. I was just a young man. I was managing a franchise photography studio. If you're from Canada, you're from way back when, you remember them, called Suter Studios. Anyways, it was a high volume, low quality franchise. And in the mall, there was a frame shop, and I used to go visit them often and do some framing. And I saw this there. So on the bottom it says, having a talent isn't worth much unless you know what to do with it. And for some reason, way back then, in my young, innocent mind, I like that. Here's a funny side story I just got to tell you because I think it's really, really cool. So there's a guy I met in the early 2000s. His name's Paul Camacchio, a graphic designer who moved from Chicago to move back to Sudbury here, where I currently and where he grew up. I grew up. And I knew the family, but I didn't know he existed. And anyways, I became good friends with him in Toastmasters because he joined Toastmasters. And he saw that one day. He's like, hey, I designed that. It was just really cool. So I met the guy who designed it. You know, as a graphic designer, he used to do projects like that. And he gave me a bunch of original lithographs. I think he had 6 or 7 of them. Anyways, I really like that saying, having talent isn't worth much unless you know what to do with it. So it's like if you have possibility and it's latent, if you have skills, talents, opportunities, and it's latent, if they're underneath, you know, it's like having a seed for a plant or a tree or whatever, and it's underground, but you never water it. And you never give it sunshine and nutrients, and it never grows. It's got the possibility, but it's pretty much worthless. You know, it's kind of a thing. So here's what I gotta say about that is the way I would phrase it best. You invoke your destiny by acting on your authentic passions. So what I mean by that is your talents, your skills, your opportunities won't really show up until you act on them. You got to take action, whatever they are. Sometimes we don't know exactly how they're going to pan out. Sometimes we go from point A to point B and we're like, whoa, and that was quite the journey. I never saw that one. You don't know how it's going to work out. If you want certainty and security, that usually is a cover-up for all of what I'm talking about. So it's best to avoid that if you can be courageous. So courage is a part of it. And I'm talking about your true authentic self here, you know, and I think that's one of the reasons why I like Joseph Campbell when he talks about follow your bliss, you know, the journey of the hero. We're all heroes, and we all got to tap into that journey. So as part of that, it's important to include any roadblocks, any messes, the darker side of our humanity, or as Carl Jung would call it, the shadow side, anything that is linked to that. Oftentimes it's trauma-based. Sometimes it's not. It's just a part of who we are. There's no rhyme or reason for it. But these are realities that are often holding us back. But here's the truth. Every one of them is an opportunity if we let it be so. And if you act on your authentic passions, as crude and primitive as they might be at first, if you act on them and burst through the fear, if you draw your sword, so to speak, and do battle with the demons, mostly the inner demons, you'll find that those demons, those dragons, those monsters on your path are nothing but fears and neurosis, and they will melt away once you're willing to do battle. And you do it for the greater good, which is for you. And when you discover your true authentic passions and you invoke them, and then they become a reality in your life, in your family, your community, your friends, and the world at large, everybody benefits. You benefit, they benefit. It's for the greater good. So, yeah, just some of my weird thoughts again. So, it's the kind of stuff I do when I'm sitting around my studio thinking about nothing much else. All right, Thanks, guys. Hope you enjoyed that.